I guess, like, spoilers. If you're wanting to play through this as a player and you don't want to know, how to actually escape in the end of it and stuff, this, kind of spoils the whole thing. We are flipping through The Vast in the Dark. Now, this is a TTRPG setting book, and the really cool thing about this book specifically is the fact that it is system agnostic, which means it isn't specifically designed to be played in a certain system like D&D, Pathfinder, anything like that. But I will say I think the original version of this book was for D&D, but then they redesigned it, which is why it's expanded, to be system agnostic. I will say very quick, this book is by Feral Indie Studio, and I would recommend checking them out. Link in the description. But yeah, let's flip through this thing, and I will preface this video with saying I have not done many videos before. Most of the stuff that I've done were live recordings of my podcast, and so I'm trying to challenge myself and get better at doing videos and not overthinking it all. So let's get into this and yeah. So before we start this flip through, I want to give a quick mention to Cassie Mothwin, who actually gave me the inspiration to even do a flip through video like this. She does a bunch of flip through videos of TTRPGs, and I watched a few and I just got really excited. And so I wanted to do one of my own, flipping through The Vast. So big shout out to Cassie, and I will be putting her link to her YouTube also in the description to check out her videos. But for The Vast in the Dark, the reason that I actually got this book, well, there's a few reasons, but the main one is the fact that I actually saw this mentioned on Twitter. I can't remember who mentioned it, but it was someone saying that this is one of the best system agnostic settings that someone has written. And I don't know about you, but I haven't read too many system agnostic settings myself. And so I really wanted to get this to actually be able to check it out and see what a system agnostic setting would look like. And I also have been in the process of moving, and I haven't had any TTRPG mail in a bit, and this looked really cool. So that's also another reason I got it. But let's start this off by reading the back portion here. Again, this is from Feral Indie Studio, and again, this book is from Feral Indie Studio. I actually didn't know about this studio before I saw this book, but I'm very excited to see what this has in it and to check out maybe some of the other stuff that they have on their website. But to start everything off, this is this kind of section here, talks about the game. It goes over a bunch of points, and it's got this whole bit of flavor text at the top that I'm going to read off because it is part of what I read before I actually got this book that I'm like, okay, this is really cool. So, to start this off, the sky is black as night. A tectonic rumbling can be heard overhead. The ruins sprawl out with a fractal madness, their shapes incoherent and puzzling. A vast sea of colorless sand stretches out into the darkness, broken only by the titanic pillars that disappear impossibly into the lightless sky. This is the vast, a liminal realm hidden far away from our own, always waning and on the verge of collapse. It is host to countless lost souls, alien treasures hidden within its crumbling ruins. I don't know. It sounds so cool. I love it. And I will say, I haven't really gone through much of this book. I did try and record this video before, and I didn't get very far because I ended up not eating that day and getting a massive headache. So I haven't really seen much of what's actually in this book, but I will go over some of the parts in the back here, specifically like brutal alien flavor. No prep world generation. Become a traveler. Explore and survive in the vast. Commune with survivors. I know how to say words. Delve the dark. Beware of harrowing. Discover. And then at the very bottom here, I wish to see the vast in the dark. And the funny thing is with this book, if you're familiar with Blades in the Dark, I've read that book, and I know the game and the system and all of that, and when I actually saw this for the first time, I thought this might have been, like, a Blades in the Dark expansion, like, just the name alone. Like, does this have to do with Blades? No, it doesn't, but, it is written by Charlie Ferguson Avery, And I guess we will start to take a look inside. Let me put it off to the side here. And then let's see how well our actual lighting looks with everything, because I haven't tested this out. This is all a new setup. All right, after adjusting the lighting here a little bit, this is what we have. So we have this whole section, which kind of looks like you are making a map, which that's actually really cool. I haven't actually played many games with like these hex crawls, or at least that uses hexes over squares. Anytime I've played D&D, it's always been squares, but I always think the hexes look really cool. Makes me want to play a hex crawl. I wonder if actually you could play it. I mean, they have hexes here. I feel like you could play hex crawl in this. That could actually be fun to do one time. I've always wanted to. And then it has this whole section where, shows all the chapters and stuff. And then it has another thing that I want to read because I love this little guy and I just think it's really cool. Reaching the vast, seek the empty, the broken, and forgotten. It is closer than you think. Search for uncanny, the hidden, and wrongs. They are unsettling to you. Observe this spot with your eyes, your hands, and breath. Let it inside you. Whisper that only you may hear. I wish to see the vast in the dark, and fall backwards without fear. You are already there. Again, the vibes are so strong. Okay, like this just sounds super creepy, and I'm curious to kind of flip through and see what is inside, because kind of reading some of these sections here, like Trials of the Deep, Escaping the Vast, like it sounds like it can have like some eldritch horror vibes to it. Now I don't know if that is the case, but look how cool this art is. I love this blue page. Oh, this is really, really cool. And this kind of goes through the same opening statement. And what I do really like, the fact that they have a whole section on recommended systems. Like I said, this game was originally, or this not this game, this setting was originally made for D&D, but then they decided to make it system agnostic, and they have actual recommended systems. Now, I've actually heard of most of these, but like Knave, is that Knave? I actually don't know if that's the correct thing. The vanilla game, I don't know what that is. Down We Go. Like there's quite a few here that I'm not familiar with, but like, Merkborg. I could see this working for Merkborg. Dungeon Crawl Classics. I do know about that one, but I actually haven't read it. It is one that I do have on my list though. Features of the vast, and it kind of goes over a few things like life in the vast, biomes, society, dangers of the vast. What do they have in dangers, actually? The harrowing. Decay and erosion are accelerated here. Even the soul and mind is not safe. Mortals and sentient beings who find themselves spending too much time within the vast begin to lose traits of their personality, memory, and eventually their drive to escape. Okay, this has so... Okay, that's cool. Innumerable perils? Ruins collapse, dust storms rise, and food runs scarce. The common dangers within the vast are innumerable, yet rumors speak of something more, things that crawl and stalk in the dark. Shapes that skitter out from the pillars when no one is watching, monsters that hide within ruins, waiting for their chance to strike. So I was just So my younger sibling just came home and had to tell me about stuff. So getting back into this, quick cut because my younger sibling just came back home and wanted to tell me about what they were doing. But what else is really cool is, they have a whole section on like using the zine, which I think is really fun because when you're first starting to get into TTRPG stuff, I know at least for me, it can be hard to know like how to use all of the stuff. I specifically as well, I've never run a setting, at least a pre-written setting. I haven't run a pre-written adventure, so kind of advice on how to use it, I think is really nice for people who are starting out. Especially something like this that's more abstract where you're not going to be, going through and this isn't a system. This is just a setting. So I do like that they have this set up. And I like this too. In addition to these tools, there's a series of setting specific content to use, including player options to choose, hazards to overcome, and all of that, which I think is just really fun. I do like this whole section where they actually talk a lot of the features in the vest, but I don't want to linger on this too long, other than, like, the art is really cool and I just like this page. So we're going to kind of move on from here. And the lighting might change. I'm still figuring out my lighting for this situation. This is like the first recording that I'm doing in the Goblin corner, and it's going to be a little rough before it's good, is all I'm going to say. Starting out here, you are a traveler. You are a traveler, one of the unlucky few who, through action or accident, have found their way into the vast, quickly adapting to life among the wastes and ruins with only your wits and now memories to keep you sane. For now, you are not alone, banding together. Oh, wait a minute. That's actually really cool. So these are like traveler quirks. All right, so I do have some dice. Let me grab a die here. Here is a little mushroom die that I have, and let's roll a random traveler quirk because this looks fun. Oh, that's right in the middle of the book. All right, so we got an 18 here. So let's say I was making a character in this and I wanted to use like this traveler's quirk thing. 18 would be cold blood. You suffer no harm from cold weather and half damage from cold attacks. Your blood pumps slowly and your skin feels corpse-like. That's really fun. Okay, that's actually really, really cool. So you could either like tie that potentially into like character options. So like let's say we were using D&D for this game. You could be a Goliath and have maybe this cold-blooded thing. So you could either like roll on this to maybe inform a choice, or you could roll on this first to then inform like what kind of character you pick, or you could obviously just like decide, hey, I'm going to be a dwarf, with using D&D as an example. And then you get that you could be a cold-blooded dwarf, and that would actually be fun, of like trying to figure out a fun way to tie that in. Ooh, I like that. And I also like the whole corpse-like thing. That's a really cool vibe. I just want to, let's roll another one. All right, 1. Ruin Plucker. You gain extra inventory slot. Ruin Plucker. You gain an extra inventory slot, always loath to leave things behind. This can't be taken multiple times. So you could just carry things. And I'm curious on, when you come to games that don't really have like inventory slots or something like this, just the first part, you gain an extra inventory slot. That doesn't feel too agnostic because it feels like you should use a system that has that. But I do like the thing of always loath to leave things behind, because I think that's a fun thing that's more of a character trait or, quirk. You don't want to leave things behind. And so I like that they have more context than just like, this little part. Dreamless. You only need to sleep every 1d6 days. Oh, that's fun. All right. And it seems like... Oh, does this have a system attached? I didn't think this had a system attached because it's got this, grit and flesh. Each traveler has grit and flesh, a representation of superficial harm and pain tolerance versus serious injuries. Strength, dex, con, wisdom, and charisma. Oh, so it does seem like there is still some attachment to D&D, because obviously this is standard array D&D stats. Grit is equal to 1d8 per level plus constitution. Yeah, okay. So this seems to still have some pretty heavy ties in with D&D. Now, I could definitely see a way that you could interpret this in other systems, and maybe... Because I know that, like, Merkborg doesn't have those same types of stats. But I do know that it is a D20 system. Dungeon Crawl Classics is. Old School Essentials is. Charokia, actually don't know what system that uses. Pathfinder uses a D20. Black Hack, I think, does as well. So maybe they are keeping within those systems for this book. So that could make sense. Like maybe ones that have a similar kind of OSR vibe to it. Yeah, flesh is equal to level plus highest ability. If flesh is lost, a traveler cannot heal until they make it a settlement or a medical practitioner. Yeah, I'm curious on actually how you would interpret that, because this is kind of more specific to D&D. Now we have a whole thing on like inventory and all that. I don't want to read through that right now. The harrowing. Okay, I actually really do like this part. So let's the harrowing. Metal rust, stone crumbles, food petrifies, and accelerant rate in the vast. Yes, I do like that. Most troubling is that this is not just reserved for the physical, as mortals who spend too long in the vast have suffer great hardships, begin to have their spirits and psyche ebb like a dust in the wind. This is called the harrowing. Ooh! When a traveler first enters the vast, they select 5 memories or drives that guide them. That's actually really cool. That's a really cool to do a more not physical type tracking. Like you literally name a bunch of memories. Oh, okay. So like here's some that they wrote down: the smell of books, hunger for knowledge, my first kiss, a need to escape, and my name. That's really nice. Also, I love this art again. I actually really like that. I think that's a cool way, especially in this whole thing where it's like decaying and like crumbling away. Ooh, that's really fun. Each time a traveler suffers some terrible hardship, there is a chance that they lose one of these pieces of their personality. Possible hardships include dropping to 0 hit points, gaining 7th level of exhaustion, effect on an object or place, experiencing a great tragedy. Now, again, it does seem like there are still some ties to D&D using, like, 7th level of exhaustion, but you could, again, you can interpret that in a different way. I thought this was going to be a little bit more I thought this was not going to have any specific D&D terms in it, but I'm also not surprised with it, again, having its roots of being a D&D setting first. When the 5th and final memory is lost, they are either slain, become an NPC, or wander aimlessly towards the darkest recesses of the vast. Oh, that's so cool. All right, exploring the vast. Okay, so you do explore. There's a whole bunch. Okay, so it is a hex crawl because it has a bunch of rules on, how that works, navigating, becoming lost, navigation assets. Oh, okay, so it's like things that actually will help you. Oh, wait, every day that travelers attempt to traverse the vast, they must make a navigation roll, d6, with 6 being a successful navigation and 1 through 5 meaning they're lost. Travelers can decrease their chances of becoming lost by preparing certain navigational assets. Each asset lessens their chance of becoming lost by 1, down to 0 in 6. Landmark, directions, tool, light, dead reckoning. Ooh, that's actually really fun. So yeah, you just like kind of cross out until, it's only a 1. So in this situation, hold on, let me grab another die. Let me grab another mushroom die. Let's say that I had, a lantern. So, I roll for that day and get a 5, which means because I have that lantern and, a 6 is the normal successful in navigation, and I have the lantern, which means that I also can succeed on that 5. That means I succeed on that. Okay, that's actually a really fun way to be able to use your tools with you and gain knowledge, especially like landmarks and directions, and maybe ask people and all of that. Okay, that's fun. They're considered lost. Dangerously off course as below, but 12 miles away. Uh-oh. Late, utterly lost. Okay, so they have a few things that can happen when you do become lost. I do really like the art and the way that the graphics in this are laid out. I just want to take a quick appreciation for that. Like, I love this whole little dice thing here. I love the art and I like the use of color a lot. But, generating the VAS. Okay. Bring up a hex map. Each hex, drop a handful of dice onto the map. Record the terrain based on the face-up number. Ooh, okay. So I don't have a handful of dice at the moment because all my dice are still in dice bags. But we'll put that there. So, okay. I see. So let's say... What are we doing? I guess we can do it a local scale for fun. Everything's not flat. All right, let's try this. So I would say this one is on there, and we'll put this one right there. So this is a 5, which means right here would be occupied ruins. That's fun. And then here would be a waste. But I think that's with the local scale. Yeah, and that's also the same thing with this too. Okay, so yeah, it just specifies waste, occupied ruins. Gotcha. Actually, oh, maybe for waste you go more specific? I don't know exactly on how this works. But, okay, you roll it out like that. That's actually really fun. That would be really cool to, like, have this huge, like, a much bigger map like that. Like, I have a lot of dice, and, like, just to roll it out on that and have a bunch of different prompts for different numbers. Like, I'm sure that you could even expand it to, like, D20s, and you throw a bunch of D20s on the map and maybe you have 20 different things that could pop up. That would actually be really fun. I don't know. I haven't made too many maps before, but I'm all about that. So, the terrain. Waste. Barren swaths of gray dust and sand, prone to sandstorms, and filled with little. Ruins, hives of erratic and crumbling architecture, sometimes populated with life. And pillars, enormous towers of stone that stretch miles across and reach up to unseen ceiling. That's fun. Okay, that's actually really cool. Yeah, again, this has like such a specific... It feels almost a little liminal. Like, I know that they mentioned that in the back, but I think that's a really good descriptor because it's like these large structures and then like just vast plains of sand and there's like nothing there, and you're traveling throughout it, and it just feels, I don't know, it just has a vibe that I really like love the idea in my mind. Now this would be really cool. I like this a lot. Now, I might actually try this one time because I would like to do a hex crawl. And if I can just like, bust this game out and be like, "Hey guys, we're going to do some really cool stuff. We're going to have a liminal dark experience." I think that would be really cool. Maybe I'll do that. Or maybe I could do that as a solo game too. I'm sure that you could play this in a system that supports solo and just use it to, generate what you need. And we're not going to really go over everything here. We're about 10 pages in, and, I've been kind of focusing on some of these beginning parts just because I think it's really cool. But they go through the wastes, and they have, like, different encounters and stuff, and it seems like, again, kind of going to this back page here, it seems like it is still using D&D as a base system. Which is a little unfortunate. You can roll for weather in the waste. That's actually really fun. But it seems like, you can roll encounters and curiosities, and then it has actual, like, factions and, like, specific things that are already set up. And, in something like this, you could absolutely add your own types of factions and people and things like that into the game. But just to have, like, some ones to start off with that, like, give you some ideas. So, like, pillar worms. Miners and craftsmen with weathered skin and bodies. They march with tools, lodestone, and little else. Slaves to the unnatural desire. They march from pillar to pillar, harvesting lodestone, as they chant songs of loss and toil. They want for little, save for food and water to carry for their work. They want for little, save for food and water to carry on their work. Even as their tools break, they continue their work by hand, bearing the injuries just to keep working. Oh, wow. That's cool. Okay. Delve 3 separate pillars and you shall learn their burden. Ooh. Wait, are these like little quests that go along with each? Join them on a call to action. They will show you how to bear the burdens of others. Ooh. Hunt and survive a week with the dust anglers, and you will never go hungry in the wastes. That's actually really cool. Grit and bear it. The body is a tool. You may gain a level of exhaustion to perform a task as you had required useful tool as if you had a required slash useful tool equipped. That's interesting. That's actually really cool. And again, this even keeps coming up like of solo play. This kind of almost gives you like little tasks and stuff that you can do with them and like actually involve kind of these in-world people. And like we just went over, there's like these pillars, which again are these like really gigantic, titanic, decaying columns of lodestone that stand like lonely, crumbling gods. Oh my god, that's again a vibe. The fissures and caves that ring their foundation appear as horrid black scars. Okay, this just sounds really cool. I've been playing a lot of like Lethal Company, and we've been going to like the Moon Titan and stuff, and the fact that they just have this like really large, like tall building that you have like all these stairs that you climb on top of, or you climb up to go to the top and actually go inside, and just like it's cold and desolate everywhere else, and then there's just one building and it's just so tall and it looms above you and like all of that. It gives me kind of a similar vibe to these pillars, and I live for it. And they talk about like mining the pillars, and then like there's encounters and the mood of the pillar, which I think this is actually kind of cool. 1 to 2 alone for now. Honestly fair. They have a whole section on diving into the pillar, or sorry, not diving, delving into the pillars, which I think on this, when they talk about the pillar worms, they talk about delving into the pillars. And so like they actually have some mechanics and things set up in place so that you can do that properly. Pillar events. Oh, tunnel shape and size. Okay, so this is what that is that this is like actually like a little map of the pillar and like ways that it splits and goes off. Oh, I play a lot of roguelike games, and this gives me Dead Cells vibes when you like look at the little mini map and you're in where are you in? I haven't played it for a little bit, so I can't remember, but it's like when you're going like down with the elevators and stuff, and like just how it like splits off like that. Oh, that's actually really fun. Then I'm curious on what the size of the die actually corresponds to. It's probably on here somewhere, but we're just going to keep going forward. But I like that a lot. That's really cool. We got settlements. Tucked away among alien structures are the occasional camps and settlements. Here wayward souls gather to recuperate and survive to the best of their ability. Again, it's like this alien. It honestly does give me Lethal Company vibes in a few ways, but like if Lethal Company wasn't, searching for scrap in a building, but instead was like wandering and trying to survive in like this desolate alien world with like these titanic scary structures. I love it. Travelers may rest, recover exhaustion, and resupply while here. And they have atmosphere. And again, this is just to... I like that they have all of this. All the different roll tables and things like that. Because like they said in the beginning, this is something that you could just, decide, I'm going to start running this today. And you can start with the map making at the very beginning, and you can roll the things that you need and fill them out. And then, you go to a settlement. All right, what's the settlement? And you can decide, and you can, roll your die and see what the population's going to be. It's overcrowded, over 100 souls and perhaps too many. And then you can actually roll from there. So I think that's really fun because I'm all about just like a no prep game. I'm trying to get better at them myself, but I think it's just really fun to have that. They have these atmospheres which, give the vibe to the place. So, like, despair, crumbling walls scrawled with curses and portents of doom, while hollow cries of anguish ring out from the dark. Broken and scattered souls languish in the decaying ruins, waiting or hoping for annihilation. Some manage to find the will to live and resist the dark, but such will come and go like wind. The horror and fertility of this place their every action haunting their every action. See, I will say the thing about these flip throughs that you will notice is that I'm terrible at reading, so especially reading out loud. So we're just gonna chill. But I love the art again. And then this is just like a bunch of locations in the settlements. So like storyteller tucked away in an alcove, an operator spins. Ortor spins. Ortor? Ortair? I don't know. But you basically like get told stories. Smithy. Scrap smithy, that's actually really cool. Warm and light radiate from a makeshift forge and anvil, while a soot-laden blacksmith hammers and curses over scraps of glowing metal. That's really fun. And then they like have some mechanical value to, these locations and stuff, which, is cool and all, but also like just having the locations in general is really fun. Oh, and then you have like people, travelers and denizens. Oh, so you have like the denizens. Nod, pale and roguish creature with a pristine knife, smiles but never speaks. A bandit and cutthroat of any land. In any land. That's actually really, really cool. So here's more factions that you can have within the settlements. But we have the ruins. Again, I love the art. It's so cool. Oh, wait, they have even more like, generating ruins. Roll a d6 and record the 5 visible faces. Start with the face up number and draw a cluster of points equal to that number and connect them with lines. Each point represents a room and each line a connecting passage. What? Okay. Okay, I gotcha. Okay, so okay. That's actually really cool. So they do like the 5 in the middle here, and then like you kind of connect each of the other numbers on different edges, but you kind of want to keep them all connected together. Ooh. That's actually a fun way to potentially like make a dungeon. Um and like I feel like of course you could maybe have fun with maybe making some empty spaces in between or some rooms that, might just be empty. That's actually a fun way to make a dungeon, though. Time traveling from point to point in hallway takes 10 minutes. Da 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 da. Okay, then you can go to different depths. Ooh, ruin rooms. Okay, I was really hoping that they would have some like generation for this here. How many do we have? Oh, there's 66. So that means it is a 2d6. Roll 2d6 for the room. All right, let's see what we get. So, I guess I should confirm which is supposed to be which. Maybe. Wait, roll 2d6 for the room, 1d20 plus current depth for the feature, 1d20 plus current depth for the encounter. So, do they have features and encounters? Rune room feature. Okay. Ruin encounters. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I'm like, I feel like I'm missing something here. So, let's have the little mushroom die be my ones. So that is 41. So let's see what room that we rolled here. Da-da-da. Dormitory. Slabs of oblong stone lie in perfect rows like mortuary tables. The air is still, breathing seems difficult. This place has not earned its name for just looks. Travelers who rest upon the slabs fall into a deep, unbreakable sleep. They remain unchanged in a form of status. until they are woken by an outside source. Oh, so it's almost like a lotus bed or something like that. There is a 1 in 6 chance that someone is asleep upon one of the slabs. Their age is uncertain as their motives. Ooh, so they have some interesting fountain. The floor of this open room descends into a wide circular basin with a single 3-foot drain hole in its center. A hole in the ceiling directly above the drain pours a constant stream of frigid water, steaming blood, or fine dust. Oh, also I love the art. That's really cool. That's Oh, I want to use this just even like generate some rooms for a dungeon because one of my friends shared a meme where they like talked about, thinking about making a dungeon is all fun, but then actually making a dungeon is like, stressing out. Like using things like this, I think would be really fun in generating dungeons. And I mean, like, that's kind of why they exist. Like, the whole point is to kind of generate a dungeon. So that's really cool. So this would probably work best with a game or with a system that does do those dungeony type games. So I can totally get the recommended systems now. Pathfinder, Dungeon Crawl Classics, Merkborg, some other ones, all of that. I'm assuming they all have kind of connections to this type of game. And then obviously you have like some rune features. So let's do a d20 plus 2. Let's say we're on the 2 depth. 5. Devastation. Broken, collapsed, and crumbling. This room takes twice as long to cross. Oh, okay. So it's basically like features. Obviously, it's features and quirks of the room that actually, make it fun. So technically, again, if you like combine that with rolling the random rooms, and then, you have some more factions, fun art, and then like encounters and stuff like that, you can have some interesting rooms and some diversity, especially if you use this for making dungeons and other games and stuff, I feel. We got some Cyclops, fun. Ooh, 1d6 Cyclops crawling in unison through the dark, smelling the air for unwary mortals. That's horrifying. How many? 5. Ugh. Ugh. See, I've been listening to Epic recently. That's why, like, we got the Lotus beds here. We got Cyclops. No one wants that. Lone survivor, a hollow look in their face warns of something terrible ahead. Ooh, okay, I like that. Short stat blocks. So these are like some stat blocks that you can use. I'm assuming that most of these things, harpies, I know that you can find in the D&D book. Centaur, griffin, hydra, worm, I don't know how to say that one. Worm. I don't think I'm saying it right. But I'm sure that you can find most of these, or you can make your own custom stat blocks if you want. Again, it does seem like D&D is being used as a base. 1 in 20 loot. Oh, loot 1 in 20. Gotcha. Oh, and then this is like the whole loot thing. Roll so for, your ruined treasures, you roll 1d20 plus the depth. So again, let's see what happens here. Let's say, the Delvers. The treasure is 1 in 20. So let's roll to see what kind of treasure that we could get here. That is a 16, and we already said that we're at like depth 2. So I guess that is 18. This, right? It would come from this list. I'm trying to then randomly choose or randomly roll a treasure from the appropriate list. Okay, gotcha. I am loading on this. I know how to read, I swear. So let's roll a d12 here to see what we got. All right, 12. So we're rolling from the something special list, and we get a sunder. A block of wrought iron hums erratically as its surface folds and pinches. When thrown with intent, the block shatters with a roar. A room or building collapses. 1d3 minutes later. What? Ooh, I don't like this guy. That's cool. When thrown with intent, the block shatters. Okay, I like items like this a lot because I think there's a lot of opportunities for just really weird uses for it. So like, the fact that it can collapse a building is really awesome. Um it shatters with a roar, like you can try and scare something off and then you have the building collapse. I would love to see how that would actually be used in play because I think that would be really awesome. And also, if anyone's curious, a D3 can just be a D6, but like, you go 1 2 3 and then 1 2 3 on the 4 5 6 face. Because not everyone has a D3. I don't have a D3. I really would like a D3 just because I think it's a neat little guy. Um, Going on. I think this is really cool, though. I like the ruins, and I want to go in a ruin now. The deep, far below the ruins, where few have seen and fewer dare to speak of, is the deep. Okay, so like you kind of like go down levels and levels and levels. This is fun. The deep is the final stretch of the vast. It is a dangerous series of trials set in a place where reality breaks down and monstrous entities, uh, and a monstrous entity shadows every step of the journey. Travelers must come prepared and be willing to make sacrifices. Ooh, okay. I love this. The trials of the deep in order: scale, reputation, change, emptiness, sacrifice, lies. Okay, this is fun. Gifts of the deep. The mortal form was not meant to be this close to the heart of the vast. Just coming in contact with the deep changes and warps the psychology and psyche of travelers. Each time the travelers enter the deep or a new level of it, they gain one of the following quirks. All right, let's roll a quirk. We know the drill now. We need to roll for everything. I love random roll tables when it comes to games, and so this just makes me very happy. Of course, we roll directly into the crack of the book. All right, 2. Voice of the Crawl. You may speak to the Crawl, attempting to dissuade them from violence or call them to action. The voice is painful, screaming noise to all else, dealing 1d6 damage to mortals who can hear it. Who is the Crawl? Was that one of the denizens from earlier? What do we have here? No, it's not. What is the Crawl? Is it in where? The Crawl? Okay, they do actually have the stat blocks back here, so my question of them being in the actual games is answered. What is the Crawl? You may speak to the Crawl. Okay, interesting. This other one's gravity spider. Your personal gravity is relative to where you are standing, allowing you to walk on walls and ceilings perfectly. Fun. All right. Who's the Minotaur? The Minotaur. Each time the travelers enter a room or a new area in the deep, there is a 1 in 6 chance the Minotaur arrives. So, it wouldn't arrive there. It wouldn't arrive there. It would arrive. At least, if you want to make 1 your magic number, you can make whatever your magic number. A wall of writhing, opaque darkness rises from the unseen corners and halls, a towering obelisk of night. Its form seems to squirm and surge with countless limbs and bodies that hide within its form. A dull and grinding howl reverberates through the crumbling walls and skulls of those who bear witness to its terrible form. What is this guy? The Minotaur is the horrors of the vast given physical form. It exists only in the deep, where reality is thin and the will of the vast is strongest. A towering and crawling monster that appears to hunt and devour even the strongest of travelers. It is slow in its approach, but it's intelligent and persistent. That is horrible. I love it and I want to see it. Cannot be harmed. Of course. Touch of the Minotaur. Touch of the Minotaur. Wither tools, erode body, break spirit, drink flesh, devour memory. Oh, this guy is amazing. I love this page for him. Oh my goodness. I love this. This is really cool, and I love whatever that head stretch thing is. All right. Trials of the Deep. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna go through each one of these things, but yeah, repetition. Did I say reputation earlier? Oops. Um, Change. Let's read what change is. A perfectly cube room measuring 15 feet in each direction. Set into the center of the four walls are square passageways, just big enough for a traveler to squeeze through. Oh, this sounds really cool. The way out, reaching the center, most rooms reveal a pit that descends further into the deep. Ooh, that's really fun. 1d6 rooms, 1 through 3 empty, there's nothing here. Map scroll, a spiraling and nonsensical map painted in ancient blood covers the walls and floor. Okay, that's really cool. Again, like, even though these things don't seem to be, like, huge. Oh, that's really cool. That it doesn't seem to be, like, hugely relevant to the game. It's more like vibes, and I appreciate that because, like, you can set the stage, like a map scroll. That's scary. A corpse, the mummified corpse of a traveler sits curled up in a corner, hands clutching their face. Like, it just really sets the vibe to this whole place. And I love each of these have these, like, little illustrations for, like, how it works. Oh, that's really fun. Emptiness. Oh god. Okay, I'm not going to go through. I want to go through each of these. But I don't want to take too much time here. But I think that sounds really cool. So if you're, like, trying to escape the vast, these are the things that you are having to do to get through it. You're going through these trials, you're going through these challenges, and, like, these are what they are. And the last one is lies. There are no walls to speak of here, only a ground of fine dust and a path to a sliver of warm light in the distance. Movement can be seen coming from the light, comforting and familiar shadows. The danger. Entering the light transports the travelers back to their place of origin. Some time may have passed, but the world is as they remember it. It's a lie. When a traveler dies via violence, accident, or old age, the false world is broken and they reawaken on the floor of this room. The way out. There is no way out. The only Wait, the way out. There is no way out. Only back the way you came. Escaping the vast. There is no way out. I didn't expect that. I guess, like, spoilers if you're wanting to play this. I might put, like, a spoilers thing before this. Because if you're wanting to play through this as a player and you don't want to know, how to actually escape in the end of it and stuff, this, kind of spoils the whole thing. But it's a lie. The fact that the whole thing, that's really good. That's really good. That's horrifying. And the thing is that you could do this as, like, a standalone game, I feel. Or you could do this as, like, maybe you are playing a longer campaign and you go here. And, obviously this is something you would have to agree upon as a group because this is pretty intense here. As a standalone thing, you kind of get to the end of it and then that happens. I could see that being chill again as you talk with your group and stuff. But, like, if you have pre-established characters already and maybe there's a way for them to fix it all, or, maybe there is a way for them to actually escape, or maybe they come back to the vast and something else happens. Maybe there is a planned event that everyone dies, or you can go through, like, a little bit of a monologue thing, and then you come to that point at the end of you reawaken on the floor of this room. Oh, damn. There is no way out. I guess I didn't expect that. Again, I haven't flipped through this, and so that's really cool art. And I didn't know what to expect. Oh, that's really cool. Magic of the Vast. They have a bunch of magic and stuff here. That's awesome. Harrow. Miracle of Sparks, all kinds of fun stuff. The crawl. Oh, there's the crawl. Thank you. I horrifying. There's way too much. There's way too many teeth on this page. Um, The crawl. Don't look too closely. You might see something you recognize. They are called the crawl. Who gave them that name originally has long been forgotten. They creep out from the fissures and caves of the pillars and seek the deepest recesses of the ruins for some unknowable reason. They are nightmare monstrosities, chimeras of mortal bodies warped and wrapped into each other. They they hunt travelers and the lost with reckless abandon, motivated by some dark and sadistic need. No one truly knows how the crawl no one truly knows how the crawl are propagated, yet many swear they have seen terrified likeness of their lost companions in their twisted forms. Again, horrifying. Like, if you're looking for just, like, liminal... I don't even know how to quite describe this type of, like, horror. Like, I mean, this is for sure, like, body horror. You know, like, that's straight up body horror. But even... there's fingers... Okay, I'm moving away from this page. There's fingers where they're not supposed to be. This is really pretty, though. But, no, that's, like... Oh gosh, a lot of this is really cool. This is really, really, really cool. I like this a lot. Sorry, what was the last page? Oh yeah, that was the stat blocks. Further inspiration from the creator. The Vast in the Dark was originally written in 2020 in the middle of a global pandemic, as I was trapped in home and while I was dealing with some other scary things in my personal life. I mention this because while I didn't intend for the Vast to be some sort of cathartic project, I believe it was certainly colored by the crushing anxiety of that time. However, I refuse to say that the driving force behind Vast was anxiety and suffering. Good work does not come from pain. Good work comes from hot meals and stability. Instead, Vast was built by a love for architecture, world generators, and places that are terrifyingly big. I can definitely see all of those inspirations. That makes sense. It was a weird personal world that I had no wish to be a part of, but a terrible curiosity of its hidden corners and inner workings. Oh my gosh, I am so into this. Despite the Vast being a terrifying and unforgiving setting, I hope it is enjoyed both mechanically and thematically. Working on the expanded edition, it has become very personal to me and far more expressive than I had planned. I don't know what's next, maybe a mega dungeon. That would be really cool. I also want to run a mega dungeon, and I just flipped through this and it's beautiful, and I would absolutely get a mega dungeon from this person. But I hope that I can continue to make offbeat pieces of fiction and art that I both enjoy and find some deeper meaning within. Charlie. Charlie, this is amazing. I just want to say this is beautiful. You did such a good job. P.S. There is a way out of the Vast. You just gotta find it. This right here, though, reminds me of Journey. And it kind of gets me a little bit because, like, with Journey, I guess spoilers for the video game Journey if you haven't played it. But you kind of go on this, like, mission where you're trying to get somewhere. And kind of at the end, you get sent back to the beginning. And, like, this artwork here, with the sand and kind of the ruins and stuff. Actually, a lot of this does give me some Journey vibes. It reminds me of that. And Journey was, like, a game that I actually played during the pandemic, and that really got me. And, oh, man. This is really cool. I'm just, like, kind of blown away at the moment. Also a bunch of, like, inspirations and stuff. exploring empty buildings, feeling lonely, being utterly drained, being trapped somewhere, knowing that you don't understand, wanting to go home and hoping things get better. Oh goodness. Trying to walk in a snowstorm. Hey, that's fair. Works of brutalist architecture. I'm definitely going to look up like brutalist architecture after this because that's a theme that I've definitely enjoyed in some media and I think is really really cool. But yeah, I think that's the vast. This was definitely probably a bit of a longer video than intended, but I just kept finding things that I thought was really cool. And so, I hope that you enjoyed. Again, if you are interested in the vast and the dark expanded, you can get it at Feral Indie Studio, the website right here, and in the description of this episode, and in the description of this video. Now, if you want a digital version, they also have a digital version. They also have a digital version on itch.io, which is also linked on their website. I would definitely recommend getting the actual physical version because you can actually flip through the book and see everything. And it was truly a experience. So, thank you so much, Charlie Ferguson Avery, for writing this book and sharing this passion project with the world. It was amazing. I'm really excited to try it out for myself, and I kind of want to play something with it solo, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope that you have a wonderful day. You get to play a TTRPG, and it's time for me to go back into the Goblin Corner and obsess over this book for the next 3 hours.